been around for a few years, and she is still rolling through the field and getting into the medals on a very regular basis. And this is going to be an interesting clash.
I was about to say it will be an interesting clash, especially seeing as Charlotte LEMBACH has taken out her much higher ranked teammate Manon Brunet, world number 3 in the previous round. And just to remind you, the French had 9 fencers into the 64 here in Montreal, but 5 of them were all in the same quarter, this bottom half of the draw. And we are about to get underway for the last quarter-final here in Montreal. And it's Andras Duvis who is refereeing this particular fight. We go straight to a video review.
He calls attack for BERDER. LEMBACH thought she got a little tiny bit of time. I think it's a good call. I think it was slightly too late. So it just turned into a counter-attack. So attack for BERDER.
Very early to burn one of your
Absolutely.
2 video appeals, but clearly LEMBACH thought that she had it. Turns out it wasn't the case. So, I'm going to ask you, John, right?
Yeah.
So 2 teammates going up against each other. Let's just put a pin in that for 1 second. Cecilia BERDER, you said that she's been around and she's still cutting her way through the field. I think in the last 12 months she's shown the best fencing she has ever done in her entire career.
I think that's right. I think she's now kind of matured into her style of fencing. She's comfortable on the podium piste. She's got a lot more confidence now than I've seen in the past. She used to be able to fence at a really high level, but if she'd lost a bit of confidence, she could crumble and lose quite a lot of hits in a row. But now she can walk away, take a deep breath, and turn around difficult situations much more effectively. And that comes with experience, you know. She's got that experience which you can't buy. You just have to stick at it and be out there on the circuit. And I don't know if this is going to be her last year of competitive fencing. I hope not, but if it is, I think she's got a really good chance of it being an Olympic medal winning year.
Yeah, the French team as a whole are great, and BERDER, well, she's right up there at the top. And for me, I have to say that, yes, I agree with you, fightcraft, piece time is critical to build the experience, but I think that there's actually been a little bit of a change on her feet as well. She just seems to be a little bit more serene on her feet.
She is. I think her fitness has improved in the last couple of years as well. She's a bit sharper, a little bit more explosive. She's got a little bit better control of her body movement, so when she's going fast, she's not losing control of her technical side of her game. And all those small tweaks, you know, they really help when it comes to the late stages of these competitions where everybody is a good fencer. We were talking earlier about Balzer laying down a marker for a place in the team. I think LEMBACH wasn't 100% safe, and this is a big result for her, whatever happens in this match. And I think she's pretty much sealed that spot in the team.
Yeah, I mean, we waxed lyrical about Cecilia BERDER, but let's have a little chat about LEMBACH. She is another one of these complete fencers. She might not be the 9s out of 10s in all areas that Olga Karlan is, but she's probably a good 8.5 certainly on the feet and the physicality.
Yeah, she's very solid in all areas. She's explosive and powerful, good change of rhythm. She's technically very strong. She uses the whole piece well. I think sometimes she's maybe a little bit one-dimensional tactically. I think that's her flaw, when you can start to read her intention and start to build hits up against her. But yeah, absolutely, she's a very complete international fencer.
Yeah, she's just very confident, comfortable, and she's quite happy to use the piece as well, perhaps more so than a lot of fencers on the circuit.
Yeah, I think that's one of the characteristics of the French, actually, is they don't see defense as a negative thing. They just see it as another way of hitting someone, you know, and I think that's a really good mentality to have. It's very interesting, you know, LEMBACH had that match with, as you said earlier, with Brunet, and she really controlled that from the beginning, and she's fenced well at the early part of this match as well. And fencing a teammate's a great leveler. The rankings go out of the window, almost, you know, experience and your record almost goes out of the window if you train together every day, 6 days a week, 52 weeks a year. Then you start to learn a lot about each other, and that is a huge leveler. It's reprise for the left. It's a good call, I think, from Duvis. LEMBACH paused, but BERDER didn't take up the attack, and then LEMBACH continued with the reprise attack.
Yeah, you called it, and the replay shows it as well. And Duvis sticks with his decision.
And he actually said
is through to the halfway stage of this match with a fairly commanding lead. So is she going to do what she did to Brune, take this lead into the second period and just see it out?
What's interesting, BERDER was struggling in the previous round, not the 16, I think, and managed to, in the end of the match, managed to find another level of concentration and change of tactic, change of strategy. I wonder if we'll see that here, if she's going to up her game, up her intensity, look for something a little bit different.
Yeah, she blasted her way through Pushtai in the end, but the score doesn't tell the whole story. And she also had a teammate Von Savide in the 32.
I think it was the match before in the 32 I was thinking about, where it was close early and then she just found a change of gear.
She was trailing in that at the halfway stage, I think you're right. We didn't actually pick that up on the stream, but here we come into the second half of this fourth quarter-final for a place in the semi-finals and a match against Olga Nikitina.
So BERDER, instead of trying to back off there, just holding a line on the piece, the on-guard line on the piece. She wanted attack and prep, but actually a good call from Duvis. LEMBACH started her lunge first. BERDER just paused and lunged a little bit late. So maybe her tactic's going to be not to give LEMBACH so much space and try and be a bit sharper at the beginning of each hit. Now you can see she's very sharp at the start, taking the initiative after the first preparation, giving her opponent less time to see her intention, less time to settle. Good idea from BERDER, but for me she started half a foot length behind the on-guard line, which I think she did deliberately, but I don't think it was the right strategy. I think she needs to be closing distance.
Well, she is starting marginally behind the line, whereas LEMBACH is right on it.
I think she's doing that as a little trick to try and just create a bit more time to see what's happening, but I'm not sure it's the right answer with this fencer. I think it's better for her to actually close the distance, to use her blade actions and try and physically dominate her opponent. But at the moment, the lower ranked fencer is running away with this.
Yeah, and eyes open from LEMBACH there. She just stepped in, slow step off the line, drew out BERDER's attack, and then just took a massive sweeping parry, and then follows it up with the completely opposite, steps off the line and then launches an attack. She's making this one look easy, John.
She is, and I think BERDER's just, the last 3 or 4 hits just played into her hands a bit. I think starting with that long distance really didn't help her. Now she's closed and started back on the on-guard line, and immediately she can find that attack on preparation.
Also a bit slow off the line, going eyes open?
Maybe a little bit slower, absolutely, but I think LEMBACH, also towards the end of the match, LEMBACH is going to maybe try and want to finish it and try and rush a little bit more, which will give BERDER a chance. But it's a mountain to climb now.
Yeah, but we've said it before in this session, and we've said it before when we've been commentating together, John, the last couple of hits are always the toughest, it seems.
Absolutely. BERDER pulls her opponent short. Now she's being more patient on the attack.
Back line is a risk, and she knew it. She had nowhere to go, Charlotte LEMBACH, and Cecilia BERDER gets her 8th hit, still trailing by 5, though.
I think she needed to have done more of that in the match. The first time we've seen LEMBACH in the back 2 meters, to be honest, in this match. And I think for BERDER it would have been better to have done a bit more of that. Take the priority with distance, and then use her distance for her good attack, for that long attack and finish.
Ooh, now, Charlotte LEMBACH happy with that decision. Cecilia BERDER looked like she was going to call for a video review there.
I thought she was, yeah. I would have done if I was her. I think it was a possible shout for an attack counter-attack. Very, very tight. Maybe a search from her opponent, search for the blade.
Oh, what's going on here? Hold on, the hit was given to LEMBACH, and she calls for a video review. That's the first time I think I've seen that.
Yeah, I think that LEMBACH misunderstood what was going on. Called a video.
He's changed his mind as well, David. I think maybe that was a little joke.
He has changed
He
it.
has changed his mind.
Absolutely.
So Lembach got given the hit, called the review.
Mistakenly thinking the hit had gone against her. And then the referee agreed with her.
I've seen everything now.
Review.
And now Lembach calls for a video review, having not been given the hit.
Intentionally calls for a video review this time, yeah. She may have a case here, so that's... Is it a parry or is it a blade into guard? That is the question. Is it BERDER looking for the blade and hitting the guard, which would be a counter-attack into a parry? Or is it BERDER taking a cart parry, a parry 4, to block out the attack? Referee says parry post. It's now 13-10. Yes, they've got that one up on the board now, and suddenly it's starting to get a little bit more tense.
What a weird thing to happen halfway through the match. But LEMBACH has taken the initiative again. She's decided she's going to change her tactics finally. Perhaps she should have done this a couple of hits ago. And she's taking the match now to BERDER. And she has been strong on the attack.
She has, absolutely. She's not... I don't think she's missed an attack in this fight.
Oh, and finally gets one through. Perhaps it was a remise. Perhaps it wasn't the initial hit that landed, but there was only one light on the box and a little wobble at the end, but Charlotte Lembach is through to the semi-finals. She beats her teammate Cecilia BERDER 15-10.